Okay guys, welcome to class number 3. So now let's talk about the zero product rule. So it states the following. If A times B gives 0, then either it's like A times B equals to 0. When this happens, the solution is the following. Either A is 0 or B gives 0. Okay, this is something that you have to remember. Let's see example number 1. What's the sum of the solutions to the following equation? So this is basically the same. Either x minus 4 gives 0 or x plus 0.3 gives 0. So one solution is x equals to 4 and the other one is x equals to minus 0.3. Therefore, the sum of the solutions of the solutions is 4 plus negative 0.3, and that gives 3.7, choice C. Now, in example number 2, it's very similar. So, you've got first, let's get rid of the 7. So we will divide both sides by 7. 0 divided by 7 is 0, so you have x plus 1 times x minus 8 is equal to 0. And now, either x plus 1 gives 0 or x minus 8 gives 0. So x could be minus 1 or positive 8. Now the question says, what positive value of x satisfies the equation above? The positive solution is 8. So this is going to be the answer. Okay, now let's see this third example. What is the solution set to the equation above? So again, we have to apply the zero product rule. So either 3x minus 2 gives 0 or x plus 4 to the power of 2 gives 0. 3x equals to 2, and then we divide by 3, so the value of one of the values of x should be 2/3. If one of the values of x is 2/3, we will eliminate choice A, we will eliminate choice C, and the next one we have to square root. We will take the square root in both sides, so we get x plus 4 is equal to 0, and finally x is minus 4, so the answer must be choice B. Solve quadratic equations, but first of all we need to know what the standard form is. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0 is known as the standard form of a quadratic equation, and the constants are a, b, and c. Don't forget that a is not 0. The variable will be x, and the values of x are known as either solutions, roots, or zeros. So if they ask you to calculate the roots of the equation, they're asking you to find the solutions In other words, the values of variable x. Now, how do we solve quadratic equations by factoring? So you have to follow 3 steps. The first one is arrange all terms on one side of the equation so the other side equals 0. In other words, write it down in a standard form. For example, number 1, we will subtract 2x from x squared. Now, the next step is factoring. Factor the expression. So, the factored form of this is given by x times x minus 2. So x times x minus 2 gives 0. And at last we have to apply the zero product rule. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve each equation. So at last, either x is 0 or x minus 2 gives 0. So the two possible values of variable x is either 0 or positive 2. Now, for example number 2, we follow the same steps. So I will subtract 10 from the left side. Now this is written in the standard form, so the next step is to factor the expression on the left. The factored form is given by x minus 2 times x plus 5. And at last, we have to apply the zero product rule, so either x minus 2 is 0 or x plus 5 gives 0, so the two possible values of x are positive 2 or negative 5. Okay, now let's continue with these examples. This will be example number 3, example number 4, and extra practice, so that's going to be number 5. Now, for example number 3, we'll follow the same steps. So the first one is the standard form, so I will subtract 6 from the left side, and then I have to find factored form of the expression on the left, that is given by x minus 3 times x plus 2. And at last, the zero product rule, so either x minus 3 gives 0 or x plus 2 gives 0. So x is either 3 or negative 2. And in example number 5, this is one problem that you will have to solve, but the first step will be cross multiply. Okay, so that's gonna be x plus 5 times x plus 4. That's a 4 is equal to 4 times 6x minus 6, and then you will just simplify each side. X squared plus 4x plus 5x plus 20 gives 24x minus 24. Okay, and then you just arrange these like in the standard form, and then you follow the steps. Okay, now let's work on these two additional types of exercises. Let's start with square root equations correctly. Suppose you're told that y to the power of 2 gives 4. Since this is a quadratic equation, you will have two possible answers. Either y gives 2 or y gives negative 2. Okay, so these are the two possible answers, because 2 to the power of 2 gives 4, and also minus 2 to the power of 2 gives 4. So don't forget to consider both solutions. So you're going to do the same here. If x plus 3 to the power of 2 is 121. What is the sum of the two possible values of x? Okay, so here x plus 3 is either 11, but don't forget that it can also take the value of negative 11, okay? So x is either 8 or negative 14. Now the answer will be the sum of the two possible solutions. So the sum must be 8 plus minus 14, and that gives negative 6. Another popular problem related to quadratic equations is finding undefined fractions or working with undefined fractions. Let's see. A divided by b is undefined or not defined if or when the denominator is 0. Okay? So here's a one. What is one value that makes the fraction undefined? The value that makes the fraction undefined is the one that makes the denominator equal to 0. So we will have to solve for x here. Remember that we need to factor the expression on the left. So that's x minus 6 times x plus 7. So either x minus 6 is equal to 0 or x plus 7 is equal to 0. So either x is 6 or negative 7. And the answer will be choice A. Okay, and at last, let's see, solving higher degree equations. So you basically will follow the same steps. First, standard form, next, factoring, and at last, the zero product rule. Here we can see this is already written in a standard form because we have 0 on one side. So we move on to the second step, which is factoring. I will rearrange this, like I will write it down as x to the 4th power plus x plus 3x cubed plus 3 equals to 0 because I want to apply factoring by grouping. This is the factored form will be x times x cubed plus 1 plus the factored form of the last two terms is 3 times x cubed plus 1 gives 0. So now this is the common factor. So finally x cubed plus 1 times x plus 3 gives 0. Finally, either x cubed plus 1 gives 0 or x plus 3 gives 0. So x cubed is negative 1, x is negative 1, or x is negative 3. Okay, now let's see the shortcut for the product and the sum of the roots. If a quadratic equation is written in standard form, the sum of the roots is given by minus b divided by a, while the product of the roots, the product of the solutions, is given by c over a. As easy as that. Now, here let's see what is the sum of the solutions. What is the sum of the roots of the equation below? So the first step is to arrange that in standard form. So I will simplify the left side, that is 2x to the power of 2 minus 2 times 2x times 3 plus 3 to the power of 2 equals to 4x plus 5. 4x to the power of 2 minus 12x plus 9 is equal to 4x plus 5. Next, I will subtract 4x from 12x. That gives minus 16x, and I will subtract 5 from 9, so that gives 4. So this is written in standard form, and A is 4, B is negative 16, and the value of C is 4. The sum of the roots is given by minus B divided by A. That is minus 16 divided by 4. So the sum of the roots will be 4.